Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. There's another paid request, this time from Edward. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics, commentaries, reactions, re-reviews, reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, whatever, pretty much anything, feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for 2 more episodes of South Park Season 3, episodes 14 and 16. Once again, thank you, Edward. And sorry for stuttering there. I don't know why my mind is frying for a second as I'm doing this video. Probably because one of the issues with one of the episodes is the whole Y2K thing. I still remember back in the day when that was a big thing. I'd rather this episode 16. I should talk about 14 first, but just real quick, I do remember the Y2K steer. There might be people who were born after that don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Y2K was this whole thing in 1999. People were scared what would happen when the year 2000 came about, because something to do with the computers, something to do with the timer, something to do with, technically it would go back to zero. So will the computer figure that out? Will things be shut down? Where people were thinking it was going to be a catastrophe, apocalypse. There's even Y2K survival videos, one hosted by Leonard Nimoy. Yes, Spock himself, Leonard Nimoy. Type in Y2K Leonard Nimoy. It's up on YouTube. Just like crazy stuff. Like, this is what you need to prepare just in case this disaster happens. And what happened? New Year's Eve came to New Year's Day and not a damn thing happened. So it was all fucking pointless. The upheaval, the stress, we had to get all these supplies. I would like to be the fly on the wall for all those people that bought all this shit, and then January 1st, 2000 comes around and they're like, fuck, yeah, I just spent $2,000 on all this shit, and I'm not going to be able to eat all this food, and I'm not going to be able to do all this shit, and I can't return it. They won't let me return it. Fuck. I did. I like to be the fly on the wall, that person. But fuck. All this shit I bought. But anyway, to the topic at hand. Before we get to that, episode 14, I rather liked. It was the one where the South Park kids, they're part of the Civil War reenactment, the South versus the North. Of course, the North will win, and they're I don't want to say training, but they're doing practice for the upcoming event, and Carmen's supposed to be on the drums, but he's playing the drums like a rock star. He's like, I like to rock. When you drum, you have to beat the shit out of it. Come on, Teddy, do you like to rock? Eddie Cartman in these early days is the character that gets the easy but funny laughs because of the way the voice is done, the tone of the voice. That can make the smallest things that much funnier. Such a unique voice within the show, let alone within cartoons, that I'll just something about when I hear it, a lot of times it just elicits laughs out of me. Now, with that said, the whole thing with Civil War reenactments, I always thought was kind of a weird thing in the first place, because you think about it, Civil War reenactments were reenacting moments where people died in real life, where this person got killed by this person killed this person. And yeah, I always thought that was a weird thing, because not only we have Vietnam reenactments. Can you imagine Vietnam reenactments? Do you imagine, are there World War II reenactments? Are there are there going to be the Gulf War reenactments? Okay, you're Osama bin Laden, and I'm this team. So it just think about any other way of reenactments. You would think it just boggles your mind. But then we have Civil War reenactments where, hey, remember when we killed our neighbors and we killed our because of the stuff going on in that time. wasn't just slavery. There were other issues as well. I did the whole reenactment thing. I always thought was weird. Let's reenact us murdering someone, killing someone in the midst of battle. I said, well, why don't you have Vietnam reenactments? Well, because America lost. Okay, what about, are there World War II ones? Are there World War One reenactments? Maybe there are, and I just don't know about it. I did the whole thing of reenacting a war when war is a bad thing in itself, so I don't know why you would want a reenactment to remember. The whole thing is just weird. Although it would be funny, the Vietnam, and they're like, fuck this, we win. Do we get to win this time? The Q ramble, yeah, you do, because we're reenacting it, and this is how it should have been. You know how on YouTube you have that, this is how the movie should have ended? You do reenactments, this is how the war should have ended. It just, surprised they don't do there might be someone somewhere in the country that does those. Vietnam, how it should have ended. John Rambo comes in. Murdoch, I'm coming to get you. You know, Rambo reenactment. I'd be up for Rambo for Split Part 2 reenactment. Rambo wins Vietnam Part 2. Electric Boogaloo. But so the kids are doing it, and of course the South's supposed to lose, but then Cartman made a bet with the other kids that, well, if the South wins, you get to be my slaves, but if the North wins, I'm your slaves. Of course, Cartman's too stupid to realize that in history the North did win. But then Cartman's like, well, I'm going to change it. Hey, you know, you guys are drunk, and you're drunk on this alcohol that also tastes like s'mores. Why do you guys always have to be the butt of their jokes and lose? How about you win, and this time the Confederacy will win? And inadvertently, Cartman starts this big fucking war from town to town to town, where the reenactors are so drunk, and they listen to Cartman, who's pretending to be General Lee, and going through all these places like Topeka, Kansas, just destroying everything. And even to the point they get to the fucking White House. Far Cartman goes, the fact that he's writing letters and to the deceased one's family. Of course, the only one person deceased was Kenny. Or Cartman's letters to the other kids, where he just pretty much says, I really, really hate you guys. I didn't Cartman's voice works very well. And even Bill Clinton, who was the president at the time, he makes an appearance at the end. Obviously not his voice, but you know, the character, caricature of him. Of course, the kids are able to stop it, but then Cartman's like, well, no, remember, slavery's abolished, so our deal, I might lose, but I can't be your slave anyway, so Cartman still technically wins. Which I'm fine with, because Cartman is definitely the more interesting, fun character compared to the other kids. To Stan and Kyle, I mean, they have their differences, but to me, like, the voices, the actual voices, they're kind of the same, voice-wise. Kenny is fun, but he's pretty much there for a couple seasons to just get killed, and how is he going to get killed in this episode? But it was such a fun, off-kilter idea, and the Cartman character sold it rather well, with how gung-ho he is about all this, that it made for an entertaining episode. And like I said, I think the better episodes is when they're just concentrating on the characters, on the environment, and on the crazy ideas. When they try to go off top and be like, well, I don't like this person, and I don't like this person, or I don't like this person in real life, so let's make fun of them, or let's make fun of that movie for, 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, I did it. You don't like the person. Either I don't care, or maybe I don't like them too, but the joke's old after a minute or two, or, hey, I disagree, I actually like that person. So to me, it's like, okay, I get it. Can you move along with the actual characters and stories that you have within the show? So I did episode 14 of season 3, I think, is for the better, honestly. But that's just me. Episode 16, I didn't really care for. That's the Y2K one. The subplot with the kids was kind of fun because it's the kids. Technically, they're sick, but they don't realize it. So when they go to the bathroom and there's blood in it, they think Cartman thinks he dies. Period. 'Cause he's too fucking stupid. I got my period, you guys, and you didn't. And I guess it was kind of fun because it shows that even though these kids, with the way they talk, they're still ignorant slash innocent kids, where they're still young enough that they don't know what a period is, and they don't know, even though it seems like they know more than a little kid would know, there's still that essence of them being this, again, ignorant, innocent type of kid. That makes kind of some fun comedy with that. And so Kyle fakes it to be part of the group. Stan doesn't, so he's pissed off. Like, how come I can't get my puberty? Or as he calls it, how come I can't get my period? And he's trying to pray to God to get one. And he, at one point, takes these pills for hormones. And he's just growing a beard. Because the other gist of the plot is the Y2K scare. And mainly, not even a whole lot of that, but just is going to come back, right? And Jesus is a character, and Jesus, I do like that Jesus is kind of a normal guy that's just like, hey, I just want to relax and stay at home. But he's talking to God, hey, God, they just want to see you for a few minutes. It would really help me out. Okay, fine, I'll do it on my own. Okay, you guys, we're going to have a millennium party with Rod Stewart. And then when they get there, Rod Stewart is this figure in a wheelchair that just goes, poop my pants, poop my pants. I'm like, I like Rod Stewart. I don't know. A lot of times the guys at South Park, there are exceptions, but a lot of times, from what I understand, they don't really have beef with people. It's just they pick someone, they make fun of them. I'm like, okay, but I still like Rod Stewart, and I don't know, I didn't need to see him in a wheelchair going, I poop my pants. Can't see it, poop my pants. And I'm like... And so, that's what I mean, jokes like that just get old. I didn't think it was funny in the first place. Because again, I like Rod Stewart. And then, like, the joke kept going and going and just got old quick. And, the concert's bad. And then God comes down, and God is this weird monster, which was an interesting idea. Because even God says, well, what did you think I would look like? Okay, it's the year 2000, you guys can ask me one question. And then Stan stupidly goes, well, why can't I have my period? Because you're a girl. Only girls have periods. Your friends got sick with this blah blah blah. And I thought it was clever that the rest of the crowd is so pissed off that their one chance to ask God a question got ruined by Stan asking the dumbest question ever. And then during the end credits, Stan's like, hey, it's New Year's. And then the crowd's like ready to kill him and beat the shit out of him. I got a chuckle out of that, to be fair. So it's not like the worst episode ever or anything. It's just, I think it was just interesting that you have Jesus as just a regular guy type of character. But, I don't know, I thought with the Y2K, there's a lot more comedy you could have got out of the whole Y2K situation. And the way they approach Y2K is, oh, Jesus is going to have a party with Rod Stewart. I don't know, it just seems like there's a lot more you can mine gold-wise out of the whole Y2K scare. What, the stupidity of it at the end of the day, the craziness of it. And it's like, it kind of seemed like a missed opportunity. Missed opportunity. And just saying. And like I said, it was the kid's subplot I thought was more, quote, funny. And in a way interesting. Like, what are these kids going to figure out that what they're saying is wrong? That they don't really have what they think they have? Again, the whole Jesus thing with the whole Rod Stewart stuff, it just wasn't really that interesting or funny at the end of the day. And it's, like I said, I thought it was a waste of the Y2K period, no pun intended, the Y2K era. I did seem like there was a lot more mining for jokes you could get out of that whole predicament than what they did. So I didn't really care much for that episode. The episode 14 I liked a lot more, so I'll say that. Again, music, animation, they're kind of similar with a lot of the episodes of South Park. So there's not really much to say in terms of that. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.